All right, so this is the part 2 of the 20-minute triple castle drop. Now, this isn't actually going to reach a sub 20 triple castle drop. We showed that you need to have a very specific set of circumstances. So specific that I played one. Oh, well, this is also one I just had to restart it a bunch of times to make my build order work because it was that tight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's the second Turk. 15. So I had to have 15 games to get the setup that I wanted. That could be more or less for you. Remember that the setup that we wanted, as discussed in part 1, is a gold next to a stone in addition to having 4 deer. Both of these requirements must be met. But for this build order, you only need one of those requirements, specifically 4 deer, which I think is a much more common occurrence. This build order is a little bit different because obviously we're not Turks, we're Khmer, and we're not going to have stone next to our gold. So we're just simply going to take the gold slow and steady. You'll see what I mean. It's not too difficult of a build order though. You just go for food, 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 for food, food, for food, because it's good, 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 good. Gotta get that food, for food, food, for food, food, food. Pushing all of the deer, which is absolutely delightful in my opinion. Try not to waste as much and just slow and steady that food flow. You could lure the boar with the scout, but since we need gold for this build, I found that it's actually semi useful to walk over to gold, collect 10, and then grab the boar in that fashion. Once again, we're going for a more realistic version in this one. Since you get 2 gold piles in a spawn like this, it's relatively realistic that one of your boars is near a gold. So I felt like leaving this little exploit in there is okay. This villager is going to drop off that 10 gold, and then the other villagers are going to shoot the boar, clear up this boar, go to the next boar, and once again, we're trying to focus on just having 1 or 2 carcasses underneath our TC as to not waste too much food. Remember that we're still 90 gold short, so you're probably thinking to yourself, well, we could just sell 1 click of stone in order to get the gold required. But that requires us to get 50 more wood, and we're not really planning on a market anytime soon, as it's going to slow down our uptime as well. If you do a good job, you should, keyword should, be able to get up with the amount of food underneath your TC if you collect a little bit of berries. So these guys are collecting berries, and they could also opt for making a mining camp over here to drop it off, which probably would have been more efficient, but I didn't know if I had to go 2 or 1. If you do it correctly, it should be able to be done in one go. All of your gold villagers simply go over to berries. So this was not an optimal setting by any stretch of the imagination. If my gold was right next to my burritos, or I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess the stone being more close to your berries is probably better. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. We're just trying to do the fastest build possible. Scout, obviously scout it out. Once you're about 50% of the way up, I always found this to be a very good measurement of when you should start walking over. Send 6 from stone. We want to try and be as efficient as we possibly can, collecting from the nearby stone piles, and then rushing over to our opponent. Let's see how much of a difference this makes compared to part 1. Same thing as part 1. We're going to smack this down as soon as the castle gets dropped, and then we're going to drop another castle as quickly as possible. In this one, I once again trying to make it realistic. also decided to drop on the opponent's face hole, but more so not take a forward stone, because a forward stone may not always be available. If I had opted for a forward stone, then I probably could have pulled off a slightly faster time. But given how tight and how crazy this build is already, I figured, you know what? Let's just send over a couple from our stone over here to collect straggler trees. I opt for 8, that way you can make it within one go, as you have 25 wood left. And then once this is all done, we're going to go for a mining camp at home now as well, because these villagers need to do something at the very least. So market plus another mining camp, which is not great to say the least. And we are very closely approaching the 20-minute mark. How close are we actually going to get with this suboptimal build? Leave your guess in the comment section below. I'm gonna kick you in the balls, poop lord. I'm just messing. You need to have a little bit of fun. After all, market now going up. We're still on that last little bit of stone, but once that runs out, we're gonna be forced to go on to gold. And sure enough, there comes the next castle up. And it's gonna be a little bit over 20 minutes. This is a 20 and a half? 20 and a half. 20 and a half minute castle drop. Not as good as a sub 20 castle drop, which, by the way, could have been even faster, but I did not feel like grinding it any harder than I already did. And now if we want to drop additional castles, it's just a matter of getting gold to then convert into stone. Remember that if you have the option of placing a mining camp on a stone mine over here, that's significantly better, because the price of gold to stone is quickly increasing as we go. You need almost 200 gold at this point to buy 100 stone. But sure enough, there is the Quattro drop. And look, I actually picked up loom, Mom. I actually did it. And now the 5th one is going to be merely impossible, because we need so much gold in order to purchase stone that it's simply not worth it anymore. So that's why I end the game right there. I want to quickly just run over the optimal build here, just really quick, for those of you who missed part 1. If you've already watched part 1, feel free to exit at this time. We do all of the same things, except in the ultimate build order of this, because I keep referring to it. I'll do it 4 times speed if you want to see it a little bit slower. We do the same kind of a thing, except instead of making a long distance trek from the gold, we just simply opt to place it next to the gold and stone. If it's close enough, this is something that you can do. To make sure that we have enough food, we're going to once again take advantage of this little trick over here, putting 5 onto the burritos, dropping it off, getting the gold, and then once we've gotten that gold, we're going to send them back onto berries just to grab a total of 50 more food. If you have found a better way to do this, please let me know, but I think this is relatively optimized. I don't think there's many other ways in order to get this fast of a castle age and this much stone with Khmer specifically. Maybe there are triple drops possible with civilizations such as Franks as well as Incas that take advantage of the discounted stone costs of castles. Think about how much of a difference that would make in time. Smashing the gates, and now we just about have enough stone for another one. And this is where it becomes kind of unrealistic, because we're going to be grabbing the stone on the forwards. Another thing that was kind of very unrealistic that you probably don't want to do is lure both of your boars with your scout. And obviously the stone gold spawn is relatively unrealistic as well. We also made sure that we had enough wood to get that forward stone mine up, as well as a market to transition onto gold when we need to. And this is now our triple. But with this setup, we can actually drop more than just 4 castles. As you will see very, very shortly, we can actually get a sub 30 minute, I believe you can get a sub 25 minute 5 tuple castle drop. The reason that we didn't get a sub 25 minute 5 tuple castle drop is because the villagers had to walk relatively large distances to get to the stone and then drop, get to the stone and drop. But this is really just not super duper realistic in my opinion. But yeah, that's 5 castles in 27 minutes. Who needs eco when you have castles? Don't let your memes just be dreams. Poop Lord out.